All right, it is Monday. It is time for the Monday message, and I'm fired up to be chatting with everybody today. We got so many exciting things going on. I cannot wait for family reunion. Family reunion is going to be here before we know it. I'm seeing commitments people are making. I'm seeing people push. I'm seeing people take last week's message and go, I'm going to give it all I got going into family reunion. I'm not going to be the one that comes into family reunion without momentum. I'm not going to be the one that didn't hit a big goal. I love it. I love seeing that fire and seeing the commitment and seeing the things y'all are texting me and telling me about your commitments and how committed you are to them. It just gets me crazy fired up to think about where we're going to be in the 1st of August, where we're going to be coming out of family reunion. It just gets me crazy excited. This 90-day crazy run we're on. Fired up this week. We'll be at Evan Patzer is getting married. Excited about that. Going to go down there and be there for their wedding. And then get some time with the Albrights, hopefully. And then on top of that, we got next week the boot camp in Denver. We're going to get that location nailed down today or tomorrow, but the date is firm. It is next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, I believe that's the 26th. I will be in Denver. Nick Greco will be in Denver. All the crazy crowd from Denver is going to be there. Marcus Richardson's going to be there. He's another one of the top 10 producers in the Alliance. So we are going to hammer down 1:30 to 5:30 on a boot camp strictly on what we do: sell, recruit, and build. And then we're going to do an opportunity meeting at 7 p.m. So excited about that. Excited about so many things. And family reunion, the more I think about it, the crazier I get. But let's get into our leaderboards for the week. Let's see the numbers this week. And again, as we put these leaderboards up, remember, if you'll submit your production through the website, so we don't have leaderboards? Okay, we're having a computer issue. All right. So I'm going to read the leaderboards. All right. Let me get to it here. All producers over 1,000. God, listen to these numbers. So we're going to start with Brenda Smith, $1,053.96. Richard Consolari, and if I'm not saying your last name right, please text me a pronunciation key, $1,257.60. Noel Wilson, $1,302.60. Raphael Leal, $1,488. Austin Heater, $1,498.20. Mike Guerra, $1,780.20. Lost my place here. Crystal Granillo, $1,886.16. Janice Pridesock, $2,162.04. Diana Castile, $2,165.84. Rogers and Kim Straughter, $2,366.16. Joshua Mills, $2,415.24. Dave Fleming, $2,612.88. Lenoris Washington, $3,840.84. Andrea Poston, $4,984.08. Another new person killing it, Andrea. So proud of you. Gustavo Mercedes Strong, $5,274.54. John Booter, $5,312.04. I wrote last week $6,103.68. Brittany Martin, $6,873.24. Brandon Beal, 2 apps for $12,000. Got some big IULs there, brother. Awesome. Jeremico Edwards, last week, 13 apps for $13,522.68. Jeremico is on an absolute tear, dude. I'm so proud of you, Jeremico. And then number one last week, this guy's team is blowing up. His personal production is blowing up. His paychecks have been blowing up. Number one last week, Mark Hutchison, $18,591.36 in submitted premium. Way to go. And I know I say it every week, but just a reminder, if you'll submit your production through the website, that'll make sure we get you on that submitted leaderboard, get you recognized. Again, we don't always get the data from the carriers on e-apps is kind of spotty. We don't always get them. We always get on issue paid, but we do miss it on submit sometimes. And I want to give you as much recognition as I can. So let's go top 10 issue paid producers month to date. We'll start with number 10. New guy, Mike Guerra. Mike Guerra is going to be massive in the Alliance. He's going to be massive. This guy is relentless in his work ethic. $3,728.17. Number 9, Josh Mills, $5,664.12. Number 8, Rogers and Kim Straughter, $7,784.82. Number 7, Gustavo and Mercedes Tehran, $7,843.18. Number 6, Mark Hutchison, $10,698.82. Number 5, Jeremico Edwards, $13,115.60. Number 4 would be me at $13,345.38. Number 3, Mimi Ramiro, $14,236.81. And Mimi says she is doing $50,000 in issue paid in the month of May, no matter what. So I know it's coming. I know you have a bunch of this week too that's not on this leaderboard yet. Number 2, new guy, killing it. Nick Greco, $19,754.06. So coming up, not even halfway through the month on the issue paid numbers, and he's already knocking on the door of $20,000 in issue paid production. Dude, Nick, go knock out another 20 before the end of this month. You go on $40,000 of issue paid premium 1 month. You go to 100% contract right there. I'm telling you, crazy. And number 1 so far for the month in issue paid through last Friday would be Marty Uwe Pelican. I would say Yellow Pelican because I always say that. Marty Uwe Pelican had number 1, over $20,000 in issue paid premium so far for the month of May. Dude, Marty, I'm so proud of you, and I know you just got another annuity going in. Awesome, man. So fired up. All right. Top paychecks for the week. We'll start number 5, Mike Guerra, $1,902.12. Number 4 paycheck last week, Gustavo Mercedes Tehran, $2,060.94. Number 3, Jeremico Edwards, $5,094.98. Number 2, Mark Hutchison, $5,823.43. And number 1, Marty Uwe Pelican, and $9,252 deposited last week. You kidding me? That's awesome, Marty. I'm so proud of you, dude. So fired up. That's crazy, brother. You had over $9,000. You almost had $10,000 deposited into your account last week. That's awesome, dude. All right, let's get going. Recruits for the week. Completed fast tracks, all with 1 direct completed fast track. You've got Marjorie Tabb, Evan Patzer, and Rogers and Kim Straughter with 2 direct completed fast tracks. You've got John Booter and Diana Castile with 4 direct completed fast tracks. Brandon Beal, second place would be my base shop here with 5 direct completed contracts. And now leading the way, Eric Phillips, 7 direct completed fast tracks last week. Way to go, Eric. Enrolled in licensing last week, Austin Heater and Evan Patzer both had 1. My base shop put 3 direct in licensing here last week. And leading the way, Brandon Beal with 5 new direct enrollees in licensing last week. All with some completed contracts, all with 1 completed new agent contract. You've got Michael Schramm, Nick Greco, and John Booter, and Mike Guerra, all with 1 direct. Second place would be Brandon Beal with 2 directs. And leading the way would be my base shop here with 5 direct, newly contracted agents ready to rock, ready to get out there and help some families. All right, I want to talk to you a little bit about family reunion before I get into my message. We were going to have the slide up, but we were having an issue with the slides. So family reunion, the early bird price is still in effect, but I need you to get your ticket today. The early bird pricing, you can't even eat all the meals you're going to get on the early bird ticket. You can't even eat that cheap for that amount of time. I mean, I'm telling you, all the meals are included. We've got Brian Tracy going to absolutely light it up. His talk is how to get rich with the Alliance on your own terms, or something like that. How to win big at the Alliance. I keep meaning to get the exact title of that talk written down, and I forget it. But it is an Alliance-centric talk that Brian Tracy's given. And if you don't know who Brian Tracy is, I highly encourage you to get one of his books before the event. And really, everybody, if you've not read this book recently, Brian Tracy's Goals, this is the best goals book I have ever read. And keep in mind, I've read thousands of books. It's not like out of the 3 I read, this was my favorite. No, this is out of all the goal books I've ever read, this book on goals is the best goals book I have ever read. 20 years in the Alliance, reading thousands of books, never read a book this good. He's going to be teaching specific to how you win with the Alliance at family reunion. That talk is going to be epic. It's going to be recorded. We're going to use it moving forward as a training piece. And you'll want to say, I was there. I saw it live. I was there live when Brian Tracy absolutely lit up the Alliance stage. You got the other Alliance top leaders going to be speaking and training. You got new partner Paul Roberts, who just made partner this year, going to be pouring his heart out. If you haven't been to a live event and seen Paul Roberts speak, let me tell you something. I'm getting cold chills just thinking about it. Just thinking about Paul hitting the stage and how he pours his heart out and what he does to help people. And Paul does so much behind the scenes that you don't even know about to help people in the Alliance. He's absolutely one of the most dynamic leaders I've ever met. Then you got Andy Albright going to be pouring his heart out. He's going to be doing a ton of teaching and training. You've got all the carriers that are going to be there. And let me tell you something, make a friend before you need a friend. When you get to meet all the carrier personnel and you start building those relationships are massive, massive, massively important in you building your business. Then on top of that, it's going to be a blast. Every convention's a blast. Andy Albright is spending the money to come have Vanilla Ice throw a party for us on Saturday night. That's just crazy. It's just crazy. You've got to get your ticket to the event. The early bird ticket pricing is still in effect for now. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I would get my ticket today. All you got to do to put $50 down to get your ticket, and then you pay the rest as you get closer to convention. But I'm telling you, this, don't miss this opportunity. Don't miss this opportunity. I've been going to these things for 20 years, and I look forward to every single one. Every single time I go to one of these events, I come out different than when I went into the event. Every time I come out different than when I went into the event. I'm thinking different thoughts. I'm feeling different feelings. I'm having different ideas. My inner dialogue changes. And that's the stuff that produces change. If we're thinking the same thoughts we were thinking a year ago, if we're feeling the same feelings we were feeling a year ago, that means we haven't grown. That means we've lost a year of life with no growth, See, that's why I love these events. I go into them and I come out different. I'm telling you, I can't wait to get there. Please come join us. And why do we call it family reunion? That's a question I get from new people. Well, because community is one of our values. It's one of our core values that we take when we take our core values deadly serious. So community, we have a family. We used to call it leadership conference or leadership convention. And what happened is people kept going, hey, this is just like a family reunion. And it's like, we said enough to where the event just turned into family reunion. So I'm telling you, be a part of our community. It's going to be an epic event. I can't wait to see you there. Holly can't wait to see you there. It's going to be crazy. A lot of people ask where we're staying. We are staying at the Marriott Courtyard there in Burlington. We have reserved the meeting room there, so we will be doing some night out type events there to get around the team. All right. Now, let's get going. So here's my subject today. My subject is the sources and the fuel of negative emotions. The sources and the fuel of negative emotions. In other words, what puts us in a negative state and what feeds that negative state. Because here's what I know. You and I live in a world that is eaten up with toxic negativity. Toxic negativity. I mean, people, they're losing their minds. They're losing their minds. I don't know if you're experiencing this in your part of the country, but in North Carolina, they had to remind people to not fill up plastic bags with gasoline because we had a little bit of a gas shortage here for a little bit because the Colonial Pipeline apparently feeds this area was subject to a ransomware attack. People lose their minds. People are in such a toxic state of terminal negativity. But you and I can't be like that. No, because if we're going to be leaders, we cannot be in a negative state. If we're going to lead others, we cannot allow ourselves to stay in a negative state. If you want to be happy, you can't allow yourself to stay in a negative state. If you want to be successful in marriage and in your relationships, you cannot allow yourself to stay in a negative state. If you want to raise happy, productive kids, you can't allow yourself to stay in a negative state. So that's why I want to talk about this today. What are the sources and the fuels of negative emotions, the negative emotions we feel? Because I'm telling you, the day's going to go by anyway, right? Life's going to keep on ticking. So we might as well be happy more than we're sad. We might as well be productive more than we are not productive. Because when we're negative, we're not productive. When we're negative, we are losing the game of life. And so that's why I want to talk to you about this. There's 5 sources And this is not something that I've made up. This is you can look it up in books. There are 5 sources that start negative emotions in us and feed negative emotions in us. And so I'm going to talk about those 5. And here's what it is. If you and I can commit to letting go of all 5 of these, we will be in a positive state more often than not. Now, we're not perfect, right? So eventually we're going to get infected with a little negativity. Eventually something's going to happen and we're going to allow it to make us negative. But when we recognize it and we change our state, we will win more than we lose. We will be productive more than we will be not productive. All right, so let's get going. What are the top 5 sources and fuels of negative emotions? Number 1, justification. Justification. You have to give up. We have to give up justification if we're going to stay positive, if we're going to move out of a negative state. A justification is a narcotic that leaves us derelict. I mean, I'm just telling you, justification, and it's just we our need to be right, our need to feel valid for feeling bad. I'm telling you, justification is deadly. That's what, if you ever notice, you ever see an angry person? What are they always doing? They're always explaining and elaborating why, all their valid reasons for being upset and angry, and explain, explain, explain. Let me tell you something. I've learned this a long time ago. Excellence doesn't need explanation. It's just something you live. But guess what needs explanation? Justification, negativity. It needs explanation. Let me tell you something. Once you let go of justification, when you no longer try and justify being in a negative state, the anger goes away. Once you decide, I'm not going to justify this negative state, but I got reasons. You don't know. We're doing it. We're doing it. Don't do it. Let it go. And think about this. If you justify a negative state, justify my reason for being in a negative state, what do you win? What do you win? All we win when we justify a negative state is a bad day. Tell them what is one. A bad day. Tell them he's one. A day of being detached from the loved ones in his life. That's what he's won. That's what I thought he would. When we justify our negative states and prove our case, all we win is a lost day of life. All we win is another day in a bad mood. So don't justify. Let it go. Let it go. Here's the problem with justification. Justification blocks productivity. So we can't fix the situation when we justify the situation. We can't fix the negative behavior when we justify the negative behavior. Because keep in mind, we're talking about negative emotions, but negative behaviors fall in the same category. Negative behaviors. Well, I'm cut off from everyone emotionally because of this one thing that happened, and I'll never, ever, 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 ever. We're not going to be productive, right? It blocks that. So once we let justification go, we can now be productive fixing the problem. Now, be clear on all these things I'm talking about. Does unfair stuff still happen to people that are positive? Yes. Now, it's hard for negative people to believe that. I mean, Lord knows you probably got relatives like that, like I do. God bless it, just negative all the time. And they think that their life is that much tougher. They think that you and I, that we get all the breaks. They think that when we pull in the parking lot, the front parking spot always opens up for us. They think the sun always shines wherever we walk. They think nothing bad ever happens to us. It's just them, that it's so unfair and I get all this all the time on me, 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 me. They think that. But it's not true. You know that. I know that. We know that when we go out there and we try to be purposely positive, we still have unfair stuff that happens to us. Justifying it only holds on to the effect of the unfair things. When we justify our negative emotion because of an unfair thing that happened, all we're doing is extending the hurt. All we're doing is extending the hurt of that unfair thing that happened. Because unfair stuff will happen to you. It's going to happen to you and me. Hey, if we live long enough, a lot of unfair is going to, we're going to face a lot of unfair stuff. In this world is how it works. But when we justify our negative state and point at the unfair thing and say, that's not fair. This is why I'm upset. This is why I'm not working today. This is why I'm not. All we win is a bad day. That's the only prize at the end of the day with justification is winning a negative day. As soon as you let go of justification, you're going to become a happier, more productive person. And watch it next time you're in that state, and just me and you try to remember this, try to remind each other. We get in that state. God, it ticks me off. I can't believe. Once we let go of justification, watch what happens to your posture. Watch what happens to your posture. I'm just telling you, it's just you feel it. You feel it. I let it go. I let it go. Now I can get back to being productive. Sure, this unfair thing happened, but now I can fix it. Now I can fix it because I'm productive. All right, number two, source of and fuel for negative emotions, rationalization. Rationalization. Let me tell you something. Rationalization, when we start to rationalize, we know we're on the wrong path. Guess what doesn't need to be rationalized? Happy. Why? Because when you're happy, you're just happy. When you're happy, you're just happy. It's like excellence. Excellence requires no explanations. Happy's the same way. But when we rationalize, we're allowing ourselves to continue in a negative emotion and a negative behavior. What does rationalization look like? Well, at least I'm not as bad as so and so. Y'all think people do that all the time, haven't you? At least it's not as bad as so and so. That's finger pointing. It's again rationalizing, very similar to justification. They are different, but they're very closely related. It's going to keep you in a negative state as long as you rationalize. Here's the problem with rationalization. And you think about this next time you start to rationalize, just think about this. Come back to this, think about this. The next time you start to rationalize, what role do you cast yourself in? When we start to rationalize, what role do we cast ourselves in? The victim. Let me tell you something. As long as you're a victim, you're helpless. Helpless and hopeless. If you were the victim, you've got to decide to not rationalize and not be the victim. Once you do that, productivity comes back, energy comes back. You'll feel the difference in your energy. Just when you let go of rationalization, you'll feel the difference in your energy. You'll just feel it. Now I can be productive again. I'm not the victim. I'm not the helpless victim that just is so unfair. I keep using the unfair thing. But just think about that. When you rationalize and you keep yourself the victim, you keep the emotion, you keep the negative emotions alive. And here's the scary part. You now have deputized, authorized yourself to do negative things. See, when we rationalize, not only do we keep a negative state alive, we now authorize ourselves to do negative things. All of a sudden, I'm curt or short with Holly. Well, it's because this happened, and so you see what I'm saying? We've just authorized ourselves to treat others poorly. We just authorized ourselves to be a jerk in traffic. We just authorized ourselves to be less kind to those around us. Because when we're the victim, none of that can be held against us. You see how dangerous rationalization is? It keeps the negative emotion alive and it authorizes you to treat others unkindly. And then that just becomes a doom loop. Just becomes a doom loop. Because you treat others unkindly, then they treat you unkindly back. And then now you got more I got more to rationalize now. I got more of an explanation now why I'm so mad, why I shouldn't have to do this. I got more of a reason now. It just feeds each other. It just feeds each other. So we just got to let it go. Just let go of rationalization. All right, number three, cause of negative emotion and fuel of negative emotions. This is a big one. This is a big one. When I explain this, I want you to zoom out for a minute and go, that's a big reason why the world is such a disaster. That's a big reason why people are so angry. You ready? Here's number three, hypersensitivity. Hypersensitivity, source of fuel for negative emotions. Hypersensitivity. And when you see hypersensitive, we know exactly what it looks like. When we're being hypersensitive, it's a little harder. It's a little harder to go, am I being hypersensitive? I guess I'm being hypersensitive. It's easy to spot in others. That guy, he's hypersensitive. He's hypersensitive. She's hypersensitive. He's hypersensitive. It's easy to spot. But inside of us, it's a little harder to spot. We're all guilty of it. We just got to do less of it. Does that make sense? We're all guilty of being hypersensitive. And it's so funny. We've all been on the other side of this. We're hypersensitive. We get our feelings all hurt and we're mad at somebody. We don't tell them we're mad at them. We start acting passive aggressively towards them. We start doing all that childish crap. And then come to find out, the thing that the person told us that person said that person had said about us wasn't even really true. Like little kids playing the telephone game, passing the thing around. We've been mad at them for 6 months. We've been pouting for 6 months. And there was no basis for it. Now, here's the crazy thing about life. When we're hypersensitive like that and we lose 6 months of positivity in a relationship, you can't get it back. You can't get it back. You don't got a time machine. You're stuck. It's gone. It's gone. Can't get it back. Hypersensitivity. Let me tell you something. If we all knew how little others actually thought about us, we would get our feelings hurt. You always think people talking about it. If we actually knew how little others thought about us, it would hurt our feelings. Y'all weren't thinking about me at all? No. Nobody's thinking about you. Nobody's thinking that. I'm telling you, they all got their own insecurities they're working through and dealing with. So there's no need in being hypersensitive. Let me tell you something. Hypersensitivity, it's a short slide from hypersensitivity to woe is me. It's a short slide, I'm telling you. And the thing is, when you're hypersensitive and when the other feelings get hurt all the time, we're a terrible person to be around. So we have less friends. It just feeds itself. They don't even like spending time around me anymore. You think? Right? Hypersensitive people is a bear to be around. You're constantly worried about hurting feelings, right? No, hypersensitivity. I'm telling you, it's the short slide into woe is me, and it allows our imaginations to spend time in doom forecasting and negative creativity. It puts our minds in that place when we're hypersensitive. So here's what we do with hypersensitivity. Remember this. What if someone really did say something nasty about me? Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you two things that will lift that burden of worry from you. Here's the two things. Okay. Number one, everybody's behaving the best way they know how based on the information they've come to accept. Everybody's behaving the best way they know how based on the information they come to accept. Meaning, if they've come to accept the information that treating others unkindly or saying nasty things about people, if they had come to accept that information, they'd stop doing it just out of self-preservation. I mean, think about it. Everyone wants to be happy. So if they knew better, they would act better. And then here's the second thing. Bad graces come from hurting places. If someone does treat you unkindly, just know that's not a happy person. Happy, fulfilled, productive people treat others kindly. People that are toxic on the inside treat others poorly. So here's what that allows you to do. It allows you to move from mad to sad. When you let go of hypersensitivity, we move from mad to sad. We go, I sure hate they said that about me. I sure hate that they cut me off in traffic. I sure hate that cashier was rude to me. I sure hate that because, God, I can't imagine what they must be dealing with. That's sad. That's really sad. Can you see how that helps? Hypersensitivity, I know I beat that one to death because it is a big one in society. Everybody's, oh, careful now. Number 4, blaming. Blame is another narcotic like rationalization. It's a narcotic. Blame is the soothing salve of the underperformers and the angry. Blame. Who's the blame? Blame. They play the blame game. Whose fault is it? Their fault. Blame. We'll go back to rationalization. When we blame, What role do we cast ourselves in? The victim. And when we cast ourselves in that role, we become what? Powerless. Don't waste time with the blame game. It keeps you in a negative, toxic state. It keeps the feelings going when you blame. Can you see how they also kind of feed on each other, right? We get hypersensitive, so we blame, and then we rationalize, and then we just hold on to it. What do we win? All we win is another bad day. I don't know about you, but as for me, I've decided I've had enough bad days. I'm just not gonna have any more. I already checked that box enough times. I'm done. I'm done. Maybe me and you will remind each other and keep each other here. All right. Number five, and as we're winding the call down here, number five, this is big: criticizing and critiquing others. This one's tricky. This one's tricky because when we criticize others, we do get a quick hit of, I feel better because I'm better than them, but it's not real. It's not real self esteem. That's why the critiquers and the criticizers, Stephen don't know, Andy don't know. They're never happy people and they never have growing businesses. Think about the criticizers and critiquers that you know in your life. Are they happy? Have you ever met a happy nitpicker? I'll give you $10,000 in cash. No, I'll give you 20,000 in cash if you can show me a happy nitpicker. They're never happy. They're never happy. So we get a quick hit of superiority, but it's false. It's not real. It's like eating cotton candy. You'll get a boost, but you ain't gonna feel good afterwards. You'll get a quick hit, but you ain't gonna feel good afterwards. That's criticizing and critiquing others. Let me tell you something. Here's what I've learned from getting coached by Andy over the years. Getting coached by Andy in the business, getting coached by people in my personal life and things I'm trying with. Here's what I've figured out about me. I have so much to work on. I really don't have time to figure out what other people got to work on. I've got so much to work on. I just don't have the time to figure out what other people need to work on because I'm a work in progress. Does that make sense? And if we zoom out, all of us are like that at the end of the day. We got so much to work on. There's no sense in opening the door to negativity by critiquing and criticizing others. I hope those five help you recognize it, let go of it, recognize it, and then let go of it. Because the longer we do those things, the longer we stay in a negative state. The longer we stay in a negative state, the more authorized we feel to do negative things. And we just get down in this doom loop. So we got to recognize when we see ourselves doing any of these five things and go, ooh, 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 let it go, let it go, ooh, ooh, let it go, let it go, let it go. We don't know. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. Let it go. Get back to being happy and productive. What's the antidote to all this? It's simple. Just like everything that works, it's simple, right? The stuff that really works is really simple and not all that jazzy. The antidote to all five is responsibility. My emotions, my words, my thoughts, my fault. My emotions, my words, my thoughts are my fault. And you say, so you're perfect in your, no. I am not perfect in my words, my emotions, and my thoughts, but they're my fault. So when any of them aren't lining up, I can fix it because it's my fault. If it's not my fault, I can't fix it. Not my fault, I can't fix it. Guys, Holly and I love you. We can't wait to see you at family reunion. It's been too long to see some of y'all. We're looking forward to family reunion. Please get your ticket today. I'm just telling you, even if you're like, I just don't know how I'm going to work it out, you don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step. Just get your put your $50 down on your ticket, and then things will start to work out. I promise you. If you need help with logistics, call me. Call your growing up line. We'll help figure out logistics to get you there. But I'm telling you, it's going to be a powerful event. I can't wait to see you. Everything over this next period of time we got till the end of July is how many can we get to family reunion? Because that's going to determine how powerful you are the rest of the year, which is going to determine what happens in 2022 for you and your family. And I want that. Holly wants that for you to go partner. That's what we want. That's why we've got to get you a bunch of people at family reunion so that you're in position to dominate the later half of the year and go partner in 2022. All right. Love y'all. Hammer down.